Hi everyone. I want to spend these next few minutes talking about what it's like to live with chronic pain. I normally film at night, or at least after the sun is set, but I wanted to get this video out before the end of July and decided to do it today while I have the stamina to do so. And it's really the first point that I have to share. It gets to be hard planning ahead, especially if your pain is volatile, in knowing when you're going to be able to do things. And so you need to be able to adapt to not having a fixed plan, and at least part of life needs to be flexible in the order you do things and how you go about doing things. And what I mean by this is being able to make provision for still living your life while not being hard on whatever causes you pain. So with me, I've got problems in both my hips, both my knees, and both my ankles. And so it's very much physically oriented. But on the other hand, one of my neighbors has very severe migraines, and while stress can cause them, there are other factors that are out of her control, and it's harder to set fixed plans. So a lot of the time, if someone wants to do something with me in real life, we'll usually pick plan A for one day and then pick the day after as a backup plan. And more times than not, one of those two dates works out well for me. And even if I'm not feeling great the second day, at least I've done what has interested me in completing. If you sort of get into a mindset that, this is the way it's going to be, it's going to result in a whole lot of frustration and just a downward spiral. And I don't know that anything good will really come of that. It doesn't mean that you don't automatically do the things that you don't enjoy, but the order that you do them in may need to be tweaked. And you may need to have some spontaneity about you in being able to grab at doing something right then, even though you may have planned to do it later in the week, just because you're up to it in that moment. The biggest challenge with chronic pain is you may not be able to see what's wrong. Like, I've been in the men's change room where they can't really see why I've got a wheelchair and why I have struggles walking, but people sure look. And it's one of those things with pain where it's not like you've just fell and hit your head and you've got a goose egg, or you've got a cast on somewhere. I've equally had my share of challenges with the healthcare system. As good as imaging is, such as MRI imaging, it's considered to only be 80% accurate, and false negatives do occur just as much as false positives occur. So you have to be willing to be your own advocate, or have someone in your life that you trust, that you're willing to be vulnerable with, and that you're willing to be transparent with, and have that person help you in attending your medical appointments. It might be the same idea as someone who has cancer, having a second person go with them so that the second person can pay more attention to the details instead of the person being in the moment and going through the treatment. Now, I know we've got COVID going on, but that doesn't stop this from happening, because the use of cell phone and Zoom video conferencing is sort of COVID proof, if I can say it like that. So just bear in mind that someone that you are close to doesn't physically need to be with you in order to attend a medical appointment or be able to ask questions of the healthcare team with your permission to help advocate for you and to help you express what's happening. Like, for example, someone looking in on your life may have a more full view than you recall because you've been in so much pain and you're in the situation. So a second person being able to go with you to your medical appointment might be a really good advocate for you, especially if you're kind of deadlocked with the doctors that are responsible for your care. I did want to take a moment to speak briefly about patient rights. Here in Ontario, it's very clearly laid out that you have the right to adequate pain control. If a doctor is not honoring this or is being heavy-handed, there are systems in place where you can advocate for yourself that will not result in the loss of care. It may mean that you have to go to a different doctor and sort of start fresh or treat it as a second opinion, but still get that opportunity for an introduction. I did want to say that you need to be able to be willing to advocate for yourself when you know that something's not accurate. Now, when I say this, I'm not telling you to lose your cool with the doctor. The doctors are responsible for the medicines they prescribe and the advice that they dispense. Doctors only want to dispense advice in their scope of support. When we get into dealing with chronic pain, they need to be competent about the medicines that they're giving you and the justification for them. It's not just so that they're covering themselves. The medications for chronic pain can be dangerous when they're not used appropriately and can very easily be used to cause someone's life to go into a downward spiral. So the doctor needs to know that they're giving the right medicine for the right reason and that you'll benefit from it. And it may irk you that you're being asked to go see a specialist like a pain clinic or a physiotherapist or an occupational therapist, but where someone has more time than the primary care doctor to spend with you and developing a full picture of your life. But that's kind of a safety net that is actually there to protect you. Now, I understand from my own life that you only have so much energy to go around, and it's very easy to tire you out when you're living with chronic pain. It's very reasonable to request that appointments be spaced out so you have a chance to both recover but also be engaged in your day-to-day life, like how you spend time when you're not attending medical appointments. And if that's what you're needing to happen so that you can go through a screening process, it's okay to express this so the doctors are actually helping you. But when you express something like this, it also shows the doctors that you're interested in your life and you're trying to do the bit that you've got control over. Like a lot of these things, the doctors want to know that you're not playing them, as well as that you've got the best quality of life possible for you. So if you start saying, well, I'd like some time, either to go for a walk or ride my wheelchair down in nature because that helps me coexist with the pain, the doctors will respect this and they'll see that there's more to you than just being in pursuit of pills. And I understand that when you're in pain, it really grabs at you and it immediately demands your attention. If you step back from that, even just a little bit while you're in that moment, you can think through as best as possible what you've been advised to do when you're in that situation, as well as what you need for yourself to deal with the emotional fortitude that's necessary for living with pain of that intensity. So what I'm getting at is this isn't just take a pill response. I understand that often taking a pill will help, but for example, being engaged in a seated exercise program might also alleviate pain and help you have a better existence in this life. What I'm wanting you to take away from this video especially is to more think about your medical treatment in a holistic approach instead of just that I need my pain to stop. I'd like you to think about I need my pain to stop so that, and then whatever your goal is, that you're pursuing something. What I'm working on right now is my weather station. I've got half a dozen friends helping me complete it. The weather station is something I'm able to give back with, and it helps me feel better about needing practical help in day-to-day life. You don't necessarily need to do this yourself. There are other options, like it could be sewing clothing or stuffed animals that you just give to the local hospital and know that someone's benefiting from your stuffed animals, or that you're sewing bags that intravenous IV fluids could be held in that would make children feel safe at the hospital, like maybe a teddy bear or whatever your favorite animal is, and you just put a pocket that is the dimensions of IV fluids in it, so that's helping someone else. If you happen to have a little bit of money, you could be making a pencil case or pencil crayon case and then put some pencils, pencil crayons, markers, erasers, maybe a few pens, and a 6-inch ruler, and then take half a dozen of these to the local school or Children's Aid or Children's Protective Services, and know that someone else is going to benefit from it. And it takes your mind off you, because pain is very much I-focused or very much self-centered. So you don't want to have yourself drawing inward and shutting down. And so having other activities, even if they are maybe computer games, I'm at my computer right now filming. These are the headsets that I wear while I'm playing a racing car game before I go to bed. Or last night we played, PGA Tour game. You're communicating with other people, and that really does a lot for when you're in near constant pain and simply trying to make the best out of life. This basically covers what I wanted to say in this video. I've not used a script. I wanted this to be very personal and share some of the stuff that stands out to me. If you've watched this video and had a specific question you'd like me to address, type it below and I'll do my best to respond to this. I really just want to leave people in a better place than before watching this video. I've said to friends, there's not enough money on the internet for me to blow up cans of Spam or, explode other aerosol cans. I'd rather deal with real life and put through something meaningful. I really hope that this will help some of you, even if it's just a situation of watching this video and coming back in another 6 months and seeing if there's something else that you take from it based on whatever your life, how it shifted during the past several months. Thanks so much for the time that you spent with me today. Bye for now.